My engagement day was supposed to be the happiest moment of my life, but instead, it turned into a nightmare, thanks to my own cousin. She spread lies, twisted words, and destroyed my relationship right in front of everyone. I thought my life was over. I thought I'd never recover from the shame. But karma has a way of finding people like her, and when it was finally my wedding day, she couldn't even look me in the eye. This is my story. If you've ever been betrayed by someone close to you, you'll feel every second of this story. Stick around till the end, because the way karma came back for my cousin will leave you speechless. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and share your own story in the comments, because revenge is always sweeter when it's told together. I grew up in a big family where cousins were like siblings, or at least that's what I thought. My cousin Sarah and I were close enough to share secrets, even late night talks about our dreams. But what I didn't realize back then was that jealousy can grow quietly, like poison. And Sarah's jealousy was aimed directly at me. It all started when my family arranged my engagement. The groom, Imran, wasn't just handsome. He was respectful, caring, and came from a good family. It felt like a dream. Sarah smiled when she heard the news. She hugged me and said, "You're so lucky. I'm so happy for you." But behind that smile, something darker was brewing. The engagement ceremony was just a few weeks away, and preparations were in full swing. My family was excited, shopping for clothes, arranging the venue, and sending out invitations. I was living in a bubble of happiness, unaware that Sarah was secretly working to burst it. It started small, a few snide comments here and there. "Imran seems nice, but do you think he really loves you?" she'd ask. Or, "Sometimes these families just want status, not the girl herself." I brushed it off, thinking she was just overthinking things. After all, she was my cousin. Why would she want to hurt me? But then things escalated. One evening, Imran's mother called my mom. Her voice was cold. She asked, "Why didn't you tell us your daughter has such a questionable reputation?" My mom froze. "Excuse me? What reputation?" That's when we learned the truth. Sarah had gone behind my back and whispered lies into Imran's family's ears. She told them I was secretly talking to other guys, that I wasn't serious about the marriage, and that I was only after their money. I couldn't believe it. My own cousin, someone who grew up with me, was painting me as a liar and a cheat. When my mom confronted her, Sarah acted shocked. "Me? No, Kala. I would never say such things. Maybe someone else is spreading rumors." But I knew. I saw the flicker in her eyes, the tiny smirk she tried to hide. Despite the tension, the engagement day arrived. I was dressed like a bride, glowing with excitement and nerves. My heart raced as I waited for Imran and his family to arrive. But they never did. Hours passed. Guests whispered. My relatives exchanged awkward glances, and then finally, the call came. Imran's family had decided to call it off. Their reason? "We cannot trust a girl with such a reputation. Marriage is about honor, and we can't risk ours." The phone slipped from my hand, my chest tightened. I felt like the floor had disappeared beneath me. Everyone looked at me with pity, some even with judgment. I wanted to scream to tell them I was innocent, that Sarah had poisoned everything, but I stayed silent. That night, as I cried myself to sleep, I heard laughter from the other room. Sarah's laughter, soft, cruel, satisfied. For weeks, I couldn't leave my room. Relatives whispered behind my back. Neighbors looked at me with suspicion. It was as if I had committed some crime. And Sarah, she walked around with full sympathy. "I'm so sorry, cousin. Maybe it just wasn't meant to be." But I could see the pride in her eyes. She wasn't sorry. She was delighted. I wanted to confront her. I wanted to expose her lies, but I had no proof. If I accused her, she'd twist it and make me look bitter, like a jealous girl blaming others for her bad luck. So I stayed quiet for the time being. But deep inside, I made a promise. This isn't over. One day, Sarah, one day you'll face the consequences of what you did to me. The weeks after the broken engagement were the hardest of my life. Everywhere I went, I felt the weight of judgmental eyes on me. People whispered in hushed tones, and even when I couldn't hear the words, I could feel them. Poor girl, left before her engagement. Maybe there's some truth to the rumors. What will happen to her now? Those words burned into me like acid. But here's the thing about pain. It either breaks you completely, or it fuels you to rise higher than ever before. And I wasn't going to let Sarah's betrayal be the end of my story. I threw myself into my studies. I worked day and night, blocking out the noise, the whispers, the pity. Each exam I aced felt like reclaiming a piece of my dignity. And when I graduated with top honors, I saw the same relatives who had once pitied me now clapping with pride. Then came the job. A reputable firm hired me right after graduation. The office was professional, respectful, so different from the toxic whispers of home. For the first time in months, I could breathe. I was earning my own money, standing on my own feet, and every paycheck was like a silent slap in the face of everyone who had doubted me. Her parents were eager to marry her off quickly, but proposals weren't pouring in the way they expected. Maybe it was karma, or maybe people had simply started to notice the sly ways she operated. Still, she walked around with arrogance, making subtle digs at me whenever she could. A good job is nice, but nothing compares to a good marriage. Don't worry, cousin, someone will want you, eventually. Her words stung, but I stayed silent, because deep down, I knew something she didn't. I was no longer broken, I was becoming stronger, sharper, and more patient. And I was waiting for the perfect moment to let her taste her own medicine. Life has a funny way of bringing opportunities when you least expect them. One afternoon at work, I was asked to assist with a new client, an established business owner who also happened to be Imran's uncle. At first, my heart skipped a beat. Memories of that broken engagement came rushing back. But when I met him, something shifted.
He was kind, professional, and surprisingly apologetic. My nephew's family was misled back then. He admitted quietly. It was a mistake. I'm sorry for what you went through. That moment was powerful for me. It was validation, proof that the truth always finds its way to the surface. And it planted a seed in my mind. If the family now saw the lies for what they were, then perhaps, when the time was right, the entire community would see too. I didn't confront Sarah immediately. Number. Revenge is like a dish. You serve it best when it's cold and perfectly prepared. So I focused on building my life higher and higher. Promotions came. Respect grew. I wasn't just the girl who got dumped. I was becoming a woman people admired. And Sarah? She kept waiting for her fairy tale engagement, but one by one her options slipped away. Every time she made a snide comment, I just smiled, because I knew the day was coming. Years passed. I had built a career, earned respect, and grown into someone I barely recognized compared to that broken girl crying after her engagement collapsed. And then, fate handed me the sweetest opportunity. One morning, my mom walked into my room holding a shiny golden envelope. "It's from Sarah's family," she said, handing it to me. I opened it, and there it was. Sarah's wedding invitation. I stared at the embossed letters, at her name written proudly next to her soon-to-be husband's, and I smiled. Not out of happiness, but because I knew. This was it. This was the stage where the truth would finally shine. I decided to attend, but not quietly. Not like the broken cousin who once sat humiliated at her canceled engagement. This time, I would walk in as a woman who had rebuilt her life from ashes. I bought a stunning dress, elegant, graceful, the kind that turns heads without being loud. And more importantly, I carried something with me. Proof. Proof of all the lies Sarah had told years ago. Screenshots of old messages, conversations with people she'd slipped up around, even an old voicemail she once left another cousin where she bragged about saving Imran from a boring marriage. For years I had kept quiet, but tonight I wasn't going to. The hall was decorated with lights and flowers, laughter echoing everywhere. Guests were smiling, music was playing, and Sarah, oh, she was glowing. Her eyes sparkled with pride as she walked in, dressed like a queen. And when she spotted me sitting near the front, I saw the flicker in her expression, the tiniest moment of discomfort. Because deep down, she knew I hadn't forgotten. When it was time for speeches, relatives and friends came up to congratulate the couple. Everyone was clapping, smiling, showering blessings. And then I stood up, calm, confident, unshaken. "I just want to say something about my cousin Sarah," I began, my voice steady. The hall fell silent. I looked straight at her,